I'm going to show off some of the Transaxle rebuilding tools that you would use to rebuild a Volkswagen Transaxle, like a Type 1 or a Type 2, 002 or an 091. So starting from the left side is something that is not actually used to rebuild, but it's an interesting curiosity. I bought this very large Allen wrench for taking out the drain plug. Most people use a socket, but the bus and debug mounting bracket that I have doesn't have enough room to accommodate a socket wrench, so I was thinking about taking this and cutting it down to size and making myself a close quarter drain plug removal tool. It's also just interesting to have a huge Allen wrench. It's about 10 bucks for that. Next up is a pinion bearing nut retaining, or pinion bearing retaining nut removal socket. That is this special socket. This costs about $130. Inside of your Transaxle, if it's a 69 or newer, it's going to have a bearing retaining nut. And the bearing retaining nut's a special nut. It's going to have a whole bunch of little teeth in it. And you're going to need to either whap it off with a punch, which I'm told will ruin it, or use this special socket. So this fits right over the top of your pinion. The pinion, plenty of room for it to go up inside there. This engages the teeth. The cutout here, I'm guessing, is for the reverse gear. So you would take and put on your pinion nut, maybe hit it with an impact wrench or a big breaker bar or something, and turn it to get that pinion bearing retaining nut loose. 130 bucks for that socket. So over here on the right, we have what's called by most sellers an economy jig and tool kit. Let's go through the tools first. There is a leverage tool. This is used after you get the pinion nut loose. You put this in there and you just use it to pry the pinion shaft out of the case so you can get your Transaxle disassembled. Wouldn't be a hard thing to make yourself. Now we also have a little spanner wrench here for taking pinion nuts loose. That is a different nut than the pinion bearing retaining nut. This is actually a nut that is on the pinion shaft itself. It looks like it's set up for maybe two different kinds of nuts. Figure out how to use that sucker when we get to working on the Transaxle. We've got a input shaft seal pressing tool. I'm assuming that's what this is. So it looks about the same size as an input shaft seal would be. Put your seal on, put this on, the input shaft fit up inside there, press that seal in. And finally we have a jig. This is the magical thing that is necessary to set your shift forks. So the shift forks, you can't set them when the Transaxle's assembled, you need to set them when it's disassembled. And you need a jig to hold all the parts on one side. So your pinion shaft goes through here, your main shaft, I guess, goes up through there. Probably looking at upside down here. So pinion, main shaft, reverse gear. You've got some little standoffs in here. Just put up like that. Something like this. Set the thing up kind of like so. Then you take your intermediate housing, put it over here. Pinion goes through. Actually, I've got it upside down, but it stands up better this way. Then you bolt your intermediate shaft down. The little kit here came with some all thread that I take you screw in the front, you screw in the back. Some nuts, washers, some little spacers. I'm guessing maybe use those if you have a different kind of Transaxle that's a little bit longer. 4 little spacers. Also got some sleeves here. One sleeve has a groove cut into it. The others are just a couple normal round rings. One's flatter than the other, a little bit shorter. They seem to kind of fit in here. Fits rather tight going in this way. Fits loose going in this way. They kind of step this groove a little bit. So I'm guessing, depending on the Transaxle, put these together something like that, or something like this, or maybe go on the same side. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, figure out how that thing goes together. But this would appear to be pretty much all of the tools that you need to disassemble and set the shift forks and reassemble the transaxle. Got one more part here. I'm guessing, although I'm not sure, that maybe it's a press sleeve, because it claimed there are some press sleeves in here. We will find out, I guess, when we go to rebuild the transaxle. Anyway, that's it. This jig and basic toolkit over here was about 250 bucks. Socket, about 130. And this absurdly large Allen wrench there, about $10.